Hi, welcome back. Shout out to the YouTube and the Spotify audience. You guys are awesome. Thank you for watching and listening. As you may have noticed, I'm outside right now, which is abnormal, but I live in San Diego and I feel like being outside is something I should do as the summer comes along. So if you like me being outside, let me know. If you don't like me being outside, probably tough for you because I want to be outside. I hope you've really enjoyed the guests that I had last week, Sarah. I feel like she brought a lot to the table and she was really open and honest and vulnerable with her story of her transition of moving from Vacaville to Southern California and the ins and outs of that, what she felt like she did well, what she felt like she could have done a little bit better. We really appreciate her for coming on. So shout out to Sarah. If you haven't seen that, you should probably check that out. With that being said, we're going to get into something that was on my mind this week. And it's been on my mind a lot lately. And it's just being yourself. I think that I've talked a lot about how to ask yourself good questions, kind of get in touch with yourself and a lot of like internal work. But now I wanted to venture more into what it looks like to express yourself outwardly. And I think that if you being yourself isn't harming anyone or anything around you, then be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself. I think that a fear-based decision in any regard, and especially in this regard, is a bad decision. To tie it in a little bit, me and Matthias, shout out to Matthias, I'm sure he'll be on at some point. He's been in a lot of other video stuff. We were put in this apartment and the rent had changed by the time that we had moved in by like 3 or 4 times the amount that we thought it was going to be. And so out of fear, we went and got several jobs and we were going to bring in roommates and all these different things to try to figure out how to survive in that. And luckily in that moment, we slowed down and we were like, you know what? This is a fear-based decision. Let's just do what needs to be done and not just run around like a chicken with your head cut off. Because I think that if we don't stop, take a moment and see what's going on, we don't have all the facts sometimes when we're making a decision from a place of emotion, and that emotion being fear. So to bring it back, we ended up surviving, we're good, everything's happy, all that. But to bring it back to what I'm talking about, I think that a lot of times, we'll start with me as always, I would be afraid to be myself because I was afraid that if I showed who I really am and I put myself out there, that people would reject me. Fear of rejection. I think that all of us have dealt with that to a degree, some more than others. And what I realized is that in my mind, I'm overthinking things quite a bit. Someone, again, if it's not something that's harmful to other people, if me being myself and being silly and being weird and genuine, if I put that out there, people are going to be like, oh my gosh, this is a genuine person. This person's great. But the fear tries to come in and say, no, you can't be yourself because you'll be rejected. And I just want to squash that lie for you and for me. That's something that I feel like is layers. I think that when it comes to growth, we have this expectation that once we deal with something, then it's dealt with completely and done, and we don't have to deal with it anymore. But that's just not the reality of life. As we grow, more layers are uncovered to us. And so we deal with fear of rejection in different ways. We deal with fear of just being ourselves in different ways as we jump into a new job, as we jump into a new field, as we jump into whatever it may be. I feel like for me, if we're gonna be real and vulnerable, the relationship that I'm in now to my fiance, her parents are esteemed in the arena in which they conduct business, for a weird way of saying it. And so my first thought was, I have to make a good impression. So what parts about me aren't the best that I should hide or cover or overcompensate for because I really want them to have a good impression of me because I love their daughter and I want them to approve of me. And I've done that in many relationships. It always doesn't end well because I'm not being my true self, and that came across. And we had to have a few conversations to clear up some things because I was acting outside of my identity, and I was acting outside of my regular behavior because I thought that by doing something that I thought that they would approve of, that they would approve of me. But at the end of the day, they just wanted to know me because I'm enough. And I think that that's the realization that we have to come to, is that we're enough. Our genuine, true self is enough. We shouldn't have to hide or water down who we are. Again, if it's not harmful to other people. I don't want this to be taken as a slogan for any group or people to go out and be destructive. This is to be constructive, because if I'm being myself, it's a constructive thing, because I'm showing other people being genuine and being myself and not chasing after what someone else is doing. That is what is going to have staying power at the end of the day. And I think that that's true. Why do you watch the people that you watch online? Why do you enjoy the celebrities that you enjoy? Why do you enjoy the people that you hang out with? Because you feel like they're genuine. None of us want to hang out with fake people. None of us enjoy fake people. Yeah, it's fun to watch some of the drama when it comes to celebrities and stuff, but that's not the people that you want to conduct life with. You want to be around real, genuine people. So why would we choose to water ourselves down and not be real and genuine to who we are? Because we're not only doing a disservice to ourselves, but we're doing a disservice to the people around us. And I think it's just so important to be true to who you are. Something that we like to say in our house, Jonas and I live together, for the record, I'll probably say that a few times for new folks, is we want to bring out the freaking people. And what we mean by that, not in a sexual way, but what we mean by that is everyone has like weird, quirky aspects of their personality that are fun. And we want it to be a safe place for people to express themselves that way and not feel like they're going to be judged or torn down. We make weird noises to one another at home. And as I've gotten to know Jonas more, I've been more comfortable to be weird, and he's been more comfortable to be weird. And we're just being ourselves and having fun, because not everything is serious all the time. I think it's good to have fun and be you. I think that it's really healthy to be weird and to do all that. Now, something that I think is really cool that I've noticed is when I'm around people who are genuine and true to themselves, they bring out different parts of my personality. Like Adam, we love Adam. Adam is one of the funniest humans known to man. He is a gift from the Lord above. But Adam brings out this just childlike, fun side of me, because that's just what he carries by being himself and being authentic. And then I'll get around someone else and they'll bring out a more serious side where we have deeper conversations and do different things. I think it's important to surround ourselves with genuine people so that we can be genuine as well. And by us being genuine, we're pulling out other characteristics and attributes of people around us that are important, that they otherwise may not have been able to access on their own, or it would have taken longer had you not been your real self and exposed them to, wow, there's this other aspect of my personality because I saw this person do that. I think that it's really important to be you in every situation. That's kind of how I've been making my decisions lately. When I'm at work, when I'm at home, when I'm in any place, am I being true to who I am? Am I watering myself down? If the answer is yes to that, then I need to stop and reapproach the situation, because I'm not doing anybody any favors by not being me. I feel like, for a lack of a better way of putting it, what I've noticed and what I've done, we almost catfish people into being our friends sometimes. And I don't think that that's cool. And I don't think that that's healthy, because you present yourself in a certain way. And then as the person gets to know you, they get to know the real you. And they really enjoy the real you. But had you presented yourself from the rip, I wonder how much quicker that relationship could have developed. And I think that a lot of times it all ties back to being afraid of being yourself and fear of rejection. And I think that if anything, I just want to communicate that a fear-based decision is a bad decision. 100% of the time. That's just honest. That's just real. So I want to encourage you just to be you. Figure out who you are if you don't know. Get around people who know who they are, because it's going to rub off. Some things are taught and other things are caught. And I think it's important, if you want to grow and develop, to get around healthy people. Like they say that you're the summation of the people that you surround yourself with. And I think to a degree that is true. I think that if I'm only hanging out with a certain group of people, then that's the part of my personality that's brought out. I don't think that blanket statement is 100% true 100% of the time. But I do take that grain of salt from it, and I evaluate the relationships that I do have. Okay, this person brings out this side of me. This other person brings out that other side of me. I can't just hang out with this person because I'm only going to be bringing out one certain aspect of who I am. I think that is why it's important to surround yourself with all different kinds of people. People that are fun, people that are serious, people that are something in between. Because if I'm only surrounding myself with people who don't know who they are and are unhappy in life, but I want to be happy in life and I want to know who I am, then what am I really doing? And this isn't to say cut off people who don't know who they are. That's not it at all. Absolutely not. I think that there's room for everybody in relationships. Are those people in my ecosystem? Are those the people that I'm going to and seeking advice? Probably not. But are those people that I'm hanging out with and having a great time with? Yeah. Not everything is serious. Not everything is about growing and becoming the best version of yourself and all this other stuff. Have fun. Because the point of being healthy is to have fullness of life. And I don't think that we can have a fullness of life without joy. If all I'm doing is working and working and working and working on myself and trying to become something, and I'm missing out on all these moments around me, not being present like previous videos, then it's pointless. I'm going to turn back after a year and be like, whoa, I've grown so much, as a person, but all my relationships are trash because I haven't invested in them, because I didn't hang out with this person because I didn't see it as a growth opportunity. Not everything is serious. I'm just going to repeat that point so that it comes across. It's important to have as much fun as it is to grow. And I think bringing balance is more of a holistic approach to all of this, because I think that we as human beings like to find problems and solve them. But the thing is, we can't solve all of our problems in one swift motion. It just doesn't work that way. It's a process. So if I am solely focused on my process and making progress in my process, and I'm not enjoying life and the relationships around me, or I'm cutting people out because they're not benefiting my process, that's not a healthy way of approaching anything either. We need people. We need people not only in the way of people to pour into us, but also people to pour into, and people just to be peers. Jonas and I are peers. I'm not his mentor. He's not my mentor. We don't look up or down on one another. We're peers. So we're there to support each other. We're on different journeys. And I think that that's a healthy relationship. If I can only be around people that I have some kind of a power dynamic or have more knowledge than them, I don't think that that's healthy. And I think that the opposite end of the spectrum, if I can only be the student who's always learning and learning and learning and having someone tell me what to do and how to conduct my life, I don't think that's healthy either. I think that there's somewhere in the middle where I have mentors, I have people that I'm pouring into, and I have people that are walking alongside of me. And I think that is such a huge aspect of our process. A great question to ask in any situation where you're feeling kind of weird about it is, was I being authentic to myself? If the answer is no, then the next question is why? What was the moment where I decided to not be my authentic self? And trace back that root. Figure out why we're making the decisions that we're making. I don't want to tell anyone what to think, but I want to encourage people to think and think for themselves. Because I think that so often people will tell you how to think and what to think. And I think that it's just important to arm people with good questions so that they can ask questions and come to conclusions for themselves. Because at the end of the day, I am the person that I have to answer to. You're the person that you have to answer to. And it's really important to put stock into our relationship with ourselves enough to ask the hard questions and to go to those places that are uncomfortable and figure things out, rather than becoming reliant upon someone else who's in a mentor position to spoon feed us all this information. I think that it's just good to ask questions to come to an understanding of why was I not being my genuine self in this moment? Why do I feel like I can only make big life decisions if I go to my mentor first? I think it's important to gather information from a lot of sources when making a big decision, but you're the person that needs to make the decision at the end of the day. And the decision in question in this moment is, am I going to be my genuine self, or am I going to allow fear of rejection to close the door for me to unlock my full potential? To close out, be yourself. You're the only you that the world has. And not to be yourself is an injustice. Be your genuine self. Do not allow fear of rejection to hinder you anymore from being your genuine self. You're fun. You're great. You have things to say. We all do. You're not just a one-dimensional character. You're not a background character in your own life. You are important, and being genuine is going to bring out the best in you, and it's going to bring out the best in other people around you. So I just really want to encourage you to go back to those questions of, when you feel like you're not being your genuine self, why? What led to that? Figure out what the root is, and then start working from there. Asking questions and being introspective is so important. It's helped me so much. And getting other people involved, people that you trust, people that are in your ecosystem. Like, hey, this is something I've noticed. Have you ever gone through this? Is there something that you know? Taking that information, adapting it to what works for you, and moving forward. And being okay if you don't get it right the first time, second time, or third time. You're in process. Be nice to yourself. Be kind to yourself. If you did make it to the end of the video, I want to thank you. I really appreciate your time. It means the world to me. I am also told to tell you to like and subscribe, so you should probably do that. And I want to hear from you in the comments. What breakthroughs have you had in being your most genuine self? What are some good questions that you've asked yourself to get to that place of being your most genuine self? Let me know. I would love to hear from you. And until next time,